Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Welcome. Brothers and sisters, been working on this presentation. It's a follow-up of the Jonah, out of Jonah. But I realized that trying to explain it going verse by verse in chapter 12 is very difficult. It's very difficult to see what's really going on. So I went and presented a different way in chronological event order, so to speak. Hope this is more helpful. So let's proceed. But anyway, before we do that, I want to speak on a couple of things, brothers and sisters. You know, the greatest death ever occurred in history was against us. The greatest theft in history. What I mean by that? The Holocaust, suffering, intense suffering, unimaginable suffering. But the greatest theft is taking us away from our environment, removing all traces of our heritage, our nature, our history, our origin, everything. They ripped us off of everything, even humanity. They took our humanity from us. They took our women from us and forced them to produce their own seed. That's the greatest theft in history. And these people walk around like they're some kind of perfect angels, and maybe devil angels, but they walk around like this shit don't stink. Oh, this person did this. What have you done, America? You're a terrorist nation from your very beginning. How do you maintain slavery for 40 years if it wasn't through terrorism? How did you maintain slavery for over 40 years if it wasn't through terrorism? Absolute terrorism, absolute oppression. And they worship these people. Jefferson and Washington, they worship these people. They worship these people. So they have no guilt, no remorse. You know, when a judge sends you, oh man, well, I'm going to give you extra time because you had no remorse. What remorse do you have, America, for what you did? What remorse do you have for you? Because you don't have remorse because you still consider us animals. You won't say it, but you have your Constitution, which is the law of the land, which is the philosophy of the land, which your sacred guidance, we classified as less than human. That means we can be eaten if necessary. That wasn't put in there for no reason. There was a reason for putting that in there. It might have something to do with voting. It's bullshit. No remorse. The greatest theft in history. And they want to talk about the Nazis and the communists and what happened to the Uyghurs, and some woman got killed over in Iran. And what have you done? Where's your rap sheet? How can you speak on anything? Oh, well, our fathers, well, if your fathers did it, why don't you repent of what your fathers did? Why you show remorse for what your fathers did? Why don't you return the land back to the people you stole it from? They're still here. Why don't you go out and publicly tell the people, our people, what you did to them publicly? Publicly tell what you did to them and return them back their land. We don't even want your money. We don't want your reparations. We just want the hell away from you. You think we want to be around you. You're a demon. It's your demon children that want to be around you. We don't have anything to do with you. You would never let anyone like me, the last person you let anywhere similar to speak anything, a fraction of what I'm speaking about was Malcolm X, and you sure wasn't going to let that happen again. You don't put the people, the real black people on TV speaking. You put your little demons on there. All of them have no affinity to black people whatsoever. Most of all of them are married to some devil. We know what you're doing. In Hollywood, the same thing. You put our image out there, you use them to put our image out there like we're less than human. See, because that's part of your propaganda. So when you start eating us, you're like, well, you know, and that's going to happen. The greatest theft in history. You have no reason to say anything. And that's why you got Farrakhan there. That's why you had to neutralize the Nation of Islam. Because you couldn't be going around telling the world that you're oppressing people when you got a nation inside here that's telling you openly you're oppressing them. They don't want to have anything to do with you. You're racist. You're no good. You're devils. You couldn't have that. Because then people say, wait a minute, hold it. You got millions of blacks over there and you're doing that to them. So you had to set Farrakhan up to neutralize all that. Oh, we love Jews. We love you. We love you. Let's have a dialogue. We just don't like the satanic ones. Yeah, and devil ain't devil anymore. Look, see I'm kissing on this one? I'm like kissing on the devil. And by the way, you know, my father's a devil. You know, he's Jewish, you know, because how can I be hating? So, and I'm leading this organization, so obviously we can't, you know, have a problem with you. Just the enemy ones. So he's there to squash that nation stuff, squash that devil stuff, that nation building, right? And we going home. Why do we want to go home? We love it here. See? Oh, see those Negroes, but they love America. See? They like America. America's great. See, on TV, right? They make it in sports and everything. See? So America treats us so good. See? So therefore, hey, see, America's a good country. And so now you go point your finger in everybody's face. See? Why are you treating those Eagles like that? Why are you treating your citizens like this? Why are you doing it? Because you got Farrakhan there giving you cover. Because you're not going to put the real black people on there that's telling you to go F yourself. We don't have nothing to do with you, your funky ass country, your funky ass system, your funky ass people, your funky ass religion. We have nothing to do with your ass. You want me to get me real cold? We don't have nothing with your fucking ass. Nothing. You understand? You ain't gonna put those on there because you got your little clowns, your little demons on there. Oh, we love it here. We did so good here. I'm glad you boys over here because you saved us from beating lions and rats and the roaches over there. Those are the ones you put on because they're your children. You're never going to tell the truth, but it doesn't matter because your time is up. We got your number. And there's a God on the scene that's going to take your ass down. You're already in trouble. You're already in free fall. The truth is choking you. It's driving you to derision. And there's no way out for you. So we don't care. Deplatforming, we don't give a damn. You're through. You're F with the wrong people. And your boy Farrakhan, he's through. He didn't accomplish the mission. And a few more days, he's going to be totally out of the picture. At least out of our picture. The greatest theft in history. Greatest. Forget about the Holocaust and all of that. The greatest theft in history. You stole everything from us, including our humanity. There's never been done any time in history of the universe anything that has ever happened. Except what you did. The greatest theft in history. That's just to us personally. But what you do this, how you get this country? They said they're going out to steal, kill, and destroy. It's exactly what you did coming out of the pit for 1,000 year dark ages that you're trying to pretend is somewhere in the future. That was you. You came out of the pit and you see the whole world, right? Going out, kill, steal, and destroy. You came out of Europe, you had nothing. You was ignorant, stupid, had nothing. And you would come and take what everybody else had. Greatest stuff in history. Great thieves in history. Greatest liars in history. The most wicked people ever. Not even people, because the Quran doesn't even give you that. They call you just beasts. Not referred to as people. The Bible doesn't refer to you as people either. It's beasts. God said, we raise up a beast that will speak to you. Great step in history. So I'm going to go through this, brothers and sisters, and we're going to walk through this, and hopefully you get a better understanding of what I'm trying to convey to you about chapter 12. So let's proceed. Hold on, brothers and sisters. Let me see if I can make an adjustment here. Okay, that's a little better. Okay. Great step in history. One heaven. Petrol wars. See, Elijah Muhammad, he said a lot of things, but he said Master Muhammad only gave him enough knowledge to last 40 years. See? But they don't want to talk about that. Because they don't want to talk about the messenger of the covenant. Because Farrakhan is not the messenger of the covenant. He's not teaching the covenant. They don't want to talk about the covenant. He despises the covenant. He just tell you about the part about the stuff. He don't tell you about the reward with going home. Because he's not going home. He's not lying. He's not going. Because this is home right here. He's a devil. A black-faced devil. So anyway, the war in heaven. Maybe soon I'll go into more detail. Because see, their power bases in the Middle East, not just oil, but the religion. They got false Israel there, right? Resources, that's the oil, and other things. So their power base is really located there, and it's the dragon, House of Assad, who fuels them, that made them as powerful as they are, because their whole power base is based off. And we designed it like that because we wanted to get that oil out of the ground. That's another story altogether, brothers and sisters. But we know that no matter what, their power had a limit to it, because even if we didn't intervene, they still would run out of oil at some point in time. This whole thing would collapse. They thought this green stuff, and no, that would never work. It would never work. And I'm going to put, I'll just touch on this a little bit. They're talking about these windmills, right? Okay. Now the windmill is powered by wind, right? So that's what weather's all about, differential pressure. So when they put those windmills up, and the amount they need to really power this society, like the oil does, they have to put so much up that they would actually screw up the weather in a negative way. Now, I don't know if they know that or not, right? But like everything else they do something, and they realize later on, like, oh, oil is the greatest thing ever. And now they sign up, it's corrupting the earth. because they're not. See, they didn't come with the earth. They're alien to it, and they don't understand it. It's like pick up sticks. Those you know, you pick up the wrong way, everything collapses. So every time they mess up, something else fails because they don't understand what they're dealing with. Because this is earth is our womb. It's our mother. And we dread to connect. It's part of our body. And we know it intimately. And they're like a blind person operating on an operating table trying to figure out, feeling around. Where's the heart? What is this? Oh, that thing is beating. What is that thing? Right? Or that thing right there. What's that thing over there? See? Well, let's pull out, look at. Boom! Hey, what happened? They died. This thing is beaten. They can't live without it. Brothers and sisters, you have no idea what you're dealing with here. You're gonna find in a minute, and some of you have to find out very, very intimately. That's what tribulation is all about, because you feel sorry for them and all this stuff. I'm not talking about you demons out there. But when you go to tribulation and you find yourself or your relatives on the dinner table on all fours with one of those with a thing shoved in their ass and an apple in their mouth, then you ain't gonna feel pity for these people anymore. And then you be ready to go home. Because you ain't going home pitying them. Oh man, they so bad. We shouldn't. Because they got 6,000 years of hell coming for them. That's how long hell lasts, 6,000 years. That's how long their hell will last, 6,000 years. I touched on that earlier. They got 6,000 years of pure, cold, hot, whatever you want to call it, hell. And it's a peculiar hell. Not a hell like they imagine. It's hell where they can be very healthy, very strong. See? Even wealthy in some respects. Right? But what's good to be there if all you can buy is shit? What good is it being there if all you can buy is shit? What good is it being there if all the food that is available to eat is shit and piss? What good is it? What good is it being there if you can't have any friends because they're the best meal around. So they ain't coming to your house because they're the best meal around. And you the best meal for them too, so you don't want them at your house. Think about that one. That's what the Quran says, right? It says, you be so healthy that if your skins burn off, you get new skins. You ain't drink shit and piss, and it will not kill you. But that's all you have to eat and drink. And you want to die and you can't. And you have no friends. Nothing. And all you want to do is like a rabbit, right? Have sex. That's all you want to do. But there's nobody around. And then you have to run and catch someone, and they running from you because they know you're going to be eating them while you copulating with them. And you just can't satisfy yourself. That's what Jesus said in the Bible, the worm never dies. That means you can't be satisfied even with that. That's a peculiar type of hell. And that's what you got, 6,000 years of it. You should never mess with us. You should never fuck with us. That's what you got. Come and get me. No, come after me. I know how to protect myself, but the Master for Muhammad allows it. That's okay. I know he got my back, but he allows it. That's okay. I don't fear you. But that's not going to change the fact you got 6,000 years of hell coming at you. 6,000 years, all prepared. What's going on, brothers and sisters? Okay, I'm going to walk this step by step, brothers and sisters. So, bear with me. Now, I'm starting from 1948, right? I'm going to just bear with me. We'll see what happens. 1948, we're starting there. In 1948, right, that's the starting point because that's the time of Christ, Antichrist. Because the scripture tell you that you would know the Christ because a star would rise in the east. So that means he would have to be in the west to see a star in the east. Because in the east, then he would see a star straight up, or he would see it in the west. So he had to be in the east to see it. He had to be in the west to see it in the east. And so the star was false Israel. And so the conception of Christ, because false Israel is Antichrist, and that's a mathematical thing, right? Because you produce one, if you produce 5, you have to have anti-5. You have a 10 on the side, you have to anti-10. So that's a mathematical thing. I'm not going to go into it here, right? But so when the Christ was produced, a star would rise in the east. That's false Israel. So both will be conceived at the same time. Now that's a hell of a sign. I mean, there's so many signs of the Christ that you can't miss them, and there's so many Christ signs of the Son of Perdition you can't miss them, but you're missing all of them. Why? Who's caused you to miss all these signs? The Son of Perdition is clear. Sign of Christ. You can't make these things up. The Christ can't go back in the womb and say, "Wait a minute, let me wait till false Israel comes up and I'll come out." These things that you easily document. So 1948, so I'm showing that. So look at these closely because one on the right is showing the sequence, right? And the circle, the sphere is just giving you a highlight, right? Okay. So, see, the two came in at the same time. Okay, let's move on. And then 1970, right? It said the messenger of covenant would suddenly come to Elijah's temple. That means the messenger of covenant could not be Elijah, because he would come to his temple, and he would be bringing the messenger of covenant. He'd be the messenger of covenant, telling about the covenant and preparing you to go home. See, Elijah prepared you to get ready. You know, he was preparing the Levites, right? To ease the path. But the messenger of covenant would be the one that would actually come and inform you of the covenant and take you home. He would be the messenger of the covenant. He's going to deliver the covenant. Okay? He's going to seal it. If you want to use it that way, right? He's going to fulfill it. See, Master Muhammad came and told you of it. They try to say Master Muhammad is son of man. You better read that carefully. Because it says some man will suffer many things. He put to death, and Master Muhammad suffered all those things? No, he did not. They just make it, now they got fired. I'm the son of man. He's son of that shit. Only thing he directly from is from the ass of a donkey. He's so pathetic. That's why it was cursed with a curse, like it says in Malachi. Let me move on, brothers and sisters, because this is quite a few things here, and I don't want to spend 2 or 3 hours on it, right? Okay. Because 1970 is when I came in contact with Elijah Muhammad, first time. It's not a big story behind that, bro. So I'm not going to talk about it here, right? Okay. So 1930s to 1975 was the time of Elijah. See, time of Elijah. So we see Elijah there, right? He's teaching to both the saint and the demons, the chaff and the wheat. He was told to teach both. He said, don't separate them, because someone sowed the chaff amongst the wheat, the demons amongst the saints. Someone did that, and he said, no, you don't try to separate them, because the Suleiman would be the one that has to do that. Okay? Okay, brothers and sisters? Okay, let me see. Hold on here. Okay, so that's what, so up to 75, right? So we're up to 75 now. Starting 1948. And then 1975, Elijah departs. Now, there's a whole story about Elias and that. I'm not going into details of it here, right? Me, if I was going to take 2 or 3 hours, I would explain all these things in detail. I'm not going to do it. Right? But this that story of Elijah really highlights this situation because he wanted two portions of Elijah's spirit, right? But he wasn't able to get it. He had it's conditional if he saw certain things, but if you understand the angel key, it didn't happen because the two portion of Elijah's spirit is the demon and Satan because they're all spirit. One's a corrupt spirit, right, and one's a righteous spirit. Okay, so Elijah goes up. He departs up to Master Muhammad, right? See, okay. Now I'm not going to explain this angel key. And somebody presentation explains it. That's up to you if you want to do the research, because that's a tough subject altogether. But that's the angel key there. Without that key, you cannot unlock the angel. Revelations. Okay. Let's move on. 75. And then comes the falling away. Now, it says in Thessalonians, be not deceived. The falling away will come first, and then the son of perdition. But Farrakhan, they switched it around. They said, "Oh, I'm exposing the son of perdition." When he says the so-called satanic Jews, when son of perdition is an individual, and now they fall. How are they falling away from it? Who's falling away from the Jews? Who's falling away from them? How does that work? Now they're falling away from who's falling away from them? No, this is what it's talking about. Because once messenger departed, Farrakhan, the coward he is, because the demon himself is follows the devil. Right? They destroyed the nation of Islam. He said, no, the government didn't do it. Him and Wallace did single-handedly. I was there. I witnessed. And I got 20/20 vision. I'm 73 years old. I don't wear glasses. Right? I got shades on, but I don't need them. Right? I witnessed from 70 to 75. Elijah Muhammad departed. And I wasn't just there running around. Like I said, I was a foreman at Muhammad Speak newspaper and night shift foreman. The messenger was aware of me. You see? So that's the falling away because there was no leadership. They got rid of the nation of Islam altogether. They started something called the Millennials. These are actual facts. So the falling away, there was no leadership. So the falling away comes first. I said, no, it comes afterwards, right? Okay. That's falling away. And then Farrakhan shows up in 1980. He sets Elijah's seat. He's son of perdition. Right? And he was sitting there for 42 years, as the Bible says, which will bring you up to 2022. He's son of perdition. Follows the devil. Makes him a demon. How in the hell can he be our savior? He follows the devil. Because you're what your father is. But he says, oh, one drop of black blood makes you black. It might make you black, but it don't make you original. It make you one of us. Even the Caucasians don't go along with that idea, because the point is, they say, just because your skin is white, that don't mean you're one of us. See? They want to know who your father is. Every nation goes along, understand that basic law, even in ancient times, so forth. So you started out as a sperm. That means you came from your father. That's your real nature, right? You get your coloring and attributes from your mother, but your nature doesn't change. Nothing in that egg can change the nature of that sperm. Nothing. Zero. You can put apple seed in the ground. I don't care what ground you put in. It still come an apple. Nothing in that ground going to change the nature of the apple. It might come out good, bad, or whatever, but it's still going to be an apple. Sweet, bitter, whatever, it's still going to be an apple. Green, yellow, it's still an apple. Okay. Then 1990, right? Okay, 1990 is when the seals were broken. That's when Suleiman took hold, because he said he would break the seven seals. That's another sign, right? He'd be conceived the same time, right, as false Israel. He'd break the seven seals. Says no one could do that but him, and no one out here has broken those seals. Farrakhan, he bigger liar says he don't even claim that. The messenger never claimed it. Master Muhammad never claimed it. And no one out there knows it. They're guessing. And I'm showing you the seals right now. So he broke the seals in 1990, which the whole world changed in 1990 because that's when they broke into heaven. That's when they broke into heaven, 1990, the Middle East. They had war. That's when they finally broke into heaven, right? That's two signs right there. The other sign says he would suddenly come to Elijah's temple. That means he'd be somebody that was with Elijah before Elijah departed. There's three signs right there. There's a whole lot more. Okay? So in 1990, they invaded the Middle East, and the two witnesses, which is the Shia, Syria, and Iran, right? They superseded their power. So now the power in the Middle East became America, Britain, and false Israel. And they've been holding power there ever since 1990, when they so-called invaded because of so-called Gulf War against Saddam Hussein. That's what would be 1990. That's when two witnesses was cast out, because said they were prophesied for 42 years. 1,260 days, which is 42 months or 42 years, meant from 1948, from time false rules came along, right, until 1990. How long is that? Isn't that 42 years? And then it'd be cast down. 1990, 1948 to 1990, that's 42 years, isn't it? Unless I can't count. Okay? So that's exactly what happened. After 42 years, they'd be cast down, right? So it was invaded. They're the witnesses. Witness against 42 is, false Israel don't have a right to exist. Is that exactly what the witness was saying? They don't have a right to exist. They stole those people's land. They stole they're thieves. They're part of the theft. They took the theft to another level where they took everything from us because they were slave dealers too. They were slavers too. They financed the slavery. They had slaves. Slaves were some of the biggest slavers ever. And Lehman Brothers and all these people, these banks, that's how they financed the slave trade. Now they want to wash their hands off. We had nothing to do with it. And now they stole our identity and they add insult to injury. They create an identity of us, right, with Slep and Fletcher. See? And what's his name? Al Jolson. He's one of them. Say it was the greatest performer ever lived. Blackface making mockery of black people. This Hollywood. So they stole our identity, claiming they're us, and then they destroy our image all over the world. They're the ones put these demon black women on there with the ass big as the moon and little string down the center of their ass, and that's not our women. Now some women get caught up because they don't know any better, but that's not our women. That's not how we came over here. That's the image they show the whole world. And they tell us, oh man, y'all anti-Semitic. We say something? F you. You can talk about it all you want, but we say something. We anti-Semitic. Well, no, we can't be because we the Semites. You the liar. Now go around and call the Holocaust a theory. See what happened to you. But what they did to us, it's a theory. You know what you're hearing right now? You're hearing the sound of your demise. So shut it off if you want to. It don't happen. You know, just because you close your ears or close your eyes when you see the 10-ton truck coming after you, just because you close your eyes doesn't mean you're gonna hit your ass. Like ostrich stick his head in the ground, but he's got his big old ass sticking out. But that's what the lion wants. He don't want his head. He wants his big ass. That's the situation you're in right now. You're through. So deplatform me if you want to. I don't give a damn because you're through. It's already done. The case is closed on you. You're in free fall. You just haven't hit the ground yet. You just don't know it. There's no solution. Platform. You know something? Where you get this technology from? You got it from us. But you got it all you're going to get. You ain't getting any more. So that's 1990. 1948 to 1990, 42 years, exactly like it says. And then 2008, Obama on the White Horse, like it says. Golden crown and a bow. It's not a bow, hour and hour bow. You got to understand the engine for that. Rainbow. See, you keep on scratching your ass talking about you think you understand Revelation. It says you haven't got one thing right about it. He had 2,000 years and can't figure it. And he said, oh, well, the Lamb, he went and got the book. It says Jesus 2,000 years ago from the God. The God wrote the book, but he didn't understand the book. Because that's what you're saying. If you understand Revelation, it says, no one in heavens, earth, or under earth. Why do you think it said? Because it means nobody at all. So if the one sitting on the throne, he's in one of those places, ain't he? So that means he didn't know it either. But he's the one supposed to wrote the book. That show you don't know how you're talking about, because one sitting on the throne is Satan, a lion throne. Y'all had the book, but couldn't understand it. I took it from your ass, and I broke it down, and now it's destroying you, because higher pressure destroys lower pressure, and higher pressure is thought, because thought is pressure, and this book is releasing atomic bombs on your ass. Atomic bombs on your ass, right? Blowing you away. That's why you're messed up right now. It says we have you in derision. Put what's it called? Hook in your mouth. You're dragging you to destruction. You don't even know it. You don't have control of yourself anymore. It's just a matter of time. Got a hook in your jaw. Got you in derision. You can't tell a male from female. You know right from wrong, up from down. You're totally confused in derision. That's so-called Farrakhan tree. You had him holding down Elijah Muhammad's army, but now he's losing his grip. We're going to talk about that in a minute. You're through. Somebody tried to get me back. Oh, man, it's almost 2023, man. You've been saying 2020. I'm not backing off on that. I ain't backing off on one bit. I don't care if it's December 30th. I ain't backing off of it. Now, I'm not saying I know the exact date, because only Master Muhammad knows that. But I do know it's close, and anybody that got eyes can see. The spark is up. It's just a matter of time. It's like a forest. It's totally dry. One little spark, bam. Yeah. See? But he's looking for a sign. We're going to talk about that sign. We're looking for a sign. And you're going to see that sign in a few more days. I think sooner than later. I think so. Obama came on the scene. See? You don't even know who he is. he gonna fast you off. You know who he is. Okay. Now this is what it's two books. There's some other thing Angel I haven't told you about. But it's two books. Right? It's the book of the seven thunders and the book of the seven churches. Now this is where the book of the seven thunders come in. See, I'm trying to put all these things piece together so you especially understand better what's going on, brother and sister. Because I tried to do it the other way, but I kept saying, nah, that's complicated. You try this verse by verse because it's not chronological order, and just confuse people. Right? Even people who study India probably were confused by it. I was somewhat confused just trying to explain it because it's the way it is. Because that's part of that's part of the way it's being coded, brothers and sisters. So at this point, see, because the fifth trumpet, the sixth trumpet rather, right? That's Ahmed. And he's He's responsible for controlling the four winds. But Isa, he's responsible for controlling the demons. The four winds are army, and the demons are also army. So one is responsible for releasing one. That's one of the plagues on America. Another one releasing another one. One is demon plague, right? And one is just four winds. I'm not going to go and explain that in detail here, but that's what that is. So now because when the book starts a certain period of time, when the book has effect, now this is when the book comes into effect, where it starts coming into focus. Where it starts, see, because the angel didn't have any effect 2,000 years ago. Because all these books are written for a specific time. And then another book is written. The Quran was for 1,000 years, 1,400 years ago. It's not relevant now. It can be useful for certain things, but it's not relevant as far as, right? Because it doesn't tell you all the details about what's happening right now. It doesn't tell you about any of these things. But the angel tells you details about everything that's happening right now. Because the book for this particular time, and once we get back home, it's irrelevant. And a new book will be given. As Elijah Muhammad tried to tell you, a new book will be given. Will be given. See? Okay. So this book, this is time, right? That book, the Seven Thunders book that's hidden within the angel, is relevant. Okay? And be relevant all the way up until the fourth wind blows. Then it won't be relevant anymore. Okay? The Seven Thunders book, the Seven Churches book, that comes relevant during the time of demon wars, that 5-month demon war. And that's not relevant anymore either. Okay? So they totally focused on those particular time frames. Okay, let's go in. Okay, then at 2018, right, 6 months in, that's when Obama set up the JCPOA, right? And that put the Shia, the two witnesses, under the foot of the nations for 42 months, for 3.5 years. Because they're under the foot of the nations, it means under control of the UN, which is supposed to represent all the nations. That's what that means. So now they accepted JCPOA and under the foot of the nations. And that would be from 2018 to 3.5 years later, 42 months, right? Okay. Welcome to step by step, brothers and sisters. Okay. And then 2022, that's 3.5 years later, right? See? That time is up. They're rising. They said to be rising for it take 3.5 years to. I think I said that backwards, brothers and sisters. They've been on the foot of the nation for. That's JCPOA. Well, that's correct, right? And then after that, okay, and they'll be under. Let me say it clearly. Let me back up here. 2000. Okay, that's what I said wrong. Let me back up, brothers and sisters. I see what I said wrong here. I think I jumped ahead. Okay, I said it wrong. Okay, I see what I did. Got myself a little confused. 2000. That's when it was terminated. Oh, okay, I see what happened. That's what happened here. Okay, I missed a slide, brothers and sisters. That's the area. 2015 is when JCPO. Yeah, I must have. I don't know. I do that slide. 2015 is when they went on the foot of the nations. See? Where am I here? Okay. Okay, I made it. I got ahead of myself there. Okay, that's 2000. Okay, okay, right there. Okay, 2015 is when they went for the nations for 3.5 years, and we ended after 3.5 years, 42 months. 2018. There you go. Okay. So on that note, I'm gonna take a small break, but since I'll be right back. 1 second, brothers and sisters. Let's see. And sisters, so careful as I tried to be. Oh, careful as I try to be. Still mistake every now and then. See one more. Okay, what happened here, brothers and sisters, is that second here. What's going on here? Okay, what happened is that I think I missed a slide, so I can just explain it. Okay, the JCPOA was set up by Obama in 2015, and there'd be 42 months, as it says in chapter 11, and then be broken, which Trump broke it in 2018, 6, which is 42 months later, right? And then, since it's broken, now they're moving up. This is what it says in the sixth seal, right? That's that wind is blowing, right? So they're putting pressure on America, Gog, Magog, and false Israel, enriching uranium on their so-called march towards a nuclear weapon. That's what's happening, brothers and sisters. So there's one slide that's missing here. It shows the one in 2015, but I think I explained it adequately. So that would put them, and it said they would be putting pressure on them 3.5 years. Again, another 3.5 years. And that brings up 2022. And then the war will start. Okay, let's see. And that's where we are right now. So that's what it said. You see them moving up, and they're putting pressure on America, Britain, and false Israel. And so the war will start any day now. But they're still looking for a sign. See, this world is looking for a sign of Jonah. Mass for Muhammad look for that sign. Also, the devil look for that sign. So it's war drums now. They've been having war drums ever since 2018. Got to take out Iran, take out their nuclear program, so forth, so on. There's much more to it than that, brothers and sisters, but I'm not going through all those details in this presentation here. Okay. The sign of Jonah. Now, the sign of Jonah is this repentance that will take place of Nineveh. Now, without going into a lot of detail, Nineveh represents the nation of Islam, and Nineveh, the great city, represents America. It was Nineveh that repented. When you read it carefully, they think it's the same thing. No, because Nineveh, the great city, was 3 days' journey across, 3,000 miles across. But Nineveh was 1,000 journey in, which is Chicago from the East Coast. So Nineveh is the one repentant. That's why Farrakhan said, I'm going to telling Trump, I'm going to get Nineveh to repent. So he going to get America to repent. I said, man, this dude, I mean, he's not only stupid, but he's out of his damn mind. Because first of all, even if he could convince, which would never happen, Trump to convince him, put him in charge, the Secret Service would blow Trump's brains out before he even, if he even thinking about something as dumb as that. But that's Farrakhan was talking about. He gonna get Nineveh to repent. See, he's supposed to be his own prophet and all this thing, everything he said, none of it happens. He said this war is gonna blow up and turn and spread all over Europe, the thing in Ukraine. It hasn't happened. He didn't see COVID coming. He saw none of that. I was telling you about, he seen none of it. And plus, now last second, he was telling all the COVID. I told everybody, I said, watch this clown. First of all, when so-called Savior Day was in February, all he talked about, he has hair over Kobe's ass. He didn't mention COVID not one time, anywhere. He didn't even mention anything similar to COVID. This whole so-called Savior Day performance. All he's talking about Kobe. And then 7 months later in July, he come out with a mask on, with a little prelude dress. Now he knows all about it. I told you about watching. So what kind of leader is that? After you fall in the ditch, you say, hey man, you're in a ditch. You supposed to keep him falling into a ditch. 7 months later, he didn't see it coming. He should easily saw it coming. 1619 to 2019, that's 40 years, officially 40 years. I mean, a plague would come immediately after, would kill the firstborn and pass over us. That's the real Passover. Exactly what it did. It was killing the firstborn elderly, and it was passing over us. They lied about, it's killing black. No. Then they found that in Africa wasn't affecting Africa, wasn't affecting Haiti. So they had to get up off of that lie. It's killing blacks over here. Demon blacks. That's why Farrakhan wanted a mask. If he knows the scripture, he's controlling it. Like he said, then why are you wearing a mask, Farrakhan? I didn't wear one. I'm 73 years old. It didn't bother me. It didn't say you wouldn't get it. It said it wouldn't die from it. It wouldn't kill you. Adjustment here. That's better, I think. Okay, I've got a little camera issue here, but I think we'll survive. Okay. Okay, so the sign of Jonah, see, because this was saying, sign of Jonah, it's also in the book of Mark. That means the nation of Islam, they're in trouble over there. I'm not going into details, but they're getting ready to get rid of him. They're going to walk away from him. Someone walk away from him already. The hemorrhaging follows over there right now. They're going to walk away from him, right? And they're going to turn to Suleiman. That's happening in a few more days. That's a sign of Jonah. That's what sign everybody's looking, because that sign right there means black folks are uniting. But it's particularly the Levites, because they can unite. They have the power to unite now, but they're plagued by demons. Because see, somebody sowed the chaff, mixed it with the wheat. See? And Farrakhan, he's the chief chaff, chief tares, chief demon. He would make war with the saints, overcome them for 42 years. That's what he's done. So once they're removed, then they unite. Because that's a sign of unite. Because right behind it, that right, is a sign that Lazarus is about to unite. But that's not what the devil is seeing. They're seeing unity, because that was the whole thing about Farrakhan, is to make sure there was never your unity in the black community. Then I make this thing between Lazarus and say it's blacks. Period. They don't want any black unity. Not other character of Elijah Muhammad, his army. And when they see that, because they've been planning ever since 1980 for 42 years to destroy. It says if 1,260 days they was planning to just take. It says let's deal shrewd with them so they wouldn't see it happen, right? Because they was afraid that if we was united and war broke out, we would fight against them, right? On their enemy side and flee the country, and we are gonna get the hell out of here. And so whole plan was to make sure that happened. That's why after Elijah Muhammad departed, that was their so-called again, I can't remember it again. FBI, whatever, I forget what they call it, counterintelligence. They stated, Farrakhan had the whole thing on his website. He gave him every point. And that started in 1980 when they set him up. Because it said be Satan casting out Satan. So if Farrakhan says casting out Satan, he must be the other Satan. Because it says Satan be casting out Satan. All these signs are there, brothers and sisters. So they've been planning, because they said specifically, we cannot have a black Messiah that electrify the people. So they're planning for your demise for 42 years. Since 1980. Okay? Hope you understand that. So they look for that sign. That sign, if that happens, remember they've been planning this. And so once they see it, all they gotta do is bring out the equipment and everything else and do it. Open up the concentration camps, whatever they have set for you. Just turn on, flip the switch. Because they're not going to tolerate any unity, not that kind of unity. Demon unity, blah, bull stuff like that there, but real unity, they're not going to tolerate it. That's what sign of Jonah is. But Master Muhammad knows that too. So he's waiting to sign of unity, because for him, the sign of unity, it's time to deliver things out of here. Okay. So it's who's going to act first. It says he acts first. So we'll see that in a minute. Okay. So here it is. Now, if we start marking everything, Suleiman doesn't go there. He's on his way there. But they come to him first. Have you seen right here? They come to meet him first. Because they've already forsaken Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, NOI backwards fire. So they come to him. Because now they see the truth. You also see an Exodus, if you pay attention to Exodus closely, where Elijah separated all those with him and those with Aaron. And then he wiped out all Aaron and all his followers. They don't want to talk about that part. That's what's happening here. So, this is the sign. Unity, that's the sign of Jonah. That'd be the only sign given this wicked generation, the sign of Jonah. Only sign. That's also a sign of Master Muhammad. So at this point in time, right, this is when all hell breaks loose. Let's see. That's where seven churches kick in. They kick in at that point in time. That's their book. That's the time period their book kicks in. See, because that's what it says. When they're in that particular situation, that's the wars taking place. So let's move on. What happened? Okay. No. So that's a sign. So now, God make our American Britain, right? They get kicked out and they're preparing to take us out, take all blacks out, all blacks. They ain't distinguishing between demons and whatever, all. They ain't taking any chances. And false Israel is under siege. False Israel is under siege. But see, at this point, see, God can make our, they've been, the worst, the worst taking place. Master Muhammad moved first and kicked them out. He kicked them out of the Middle East. And false Israel under siege. That's where it is right now. They kicked out. And Suleiman, he's there talking to NOI. Right. They came to meet him, but he was on his way there. They met him before he got there, but he continued on his way there. But now he has control of it. Right? Okay. The war's taking place. Syria and Iran, the Shia, has kicked America and Britain out of the Middle East, and false Israel is under siege. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, that's what you see right there. So at that point, they're preparing to attack because they see a sign of Jonah. And then there's some ambivalence there because false Israel hasn't been taken down yet. Because at this point, they can still say false Israel is the true seed of Abraham. They're under siege. But in the evangelical community, they're saying, oh, no, hold on. Because they're telling everybody that Jesus is going to come and save them at the last minute. They're going to repent and accept Jesus. Because they're going to say that's the sign of Jonah. That they're going to repent and accept Jesus, and then Jesus is going to save them. So they're going to try to say that's the sign of justice in evangelical. So they're confusing the whole picture. That's another story together, brothers and sisters. But the government was looking for the other sign. Evangelical community, they claiming that was a sign. That's a sign there. So they're thinking that now Jesus is about to come. So that's why there's some hesitancy there. Because Jesus is about to come and going, because they're going to save false Israel just in the last minute. That's what they've been teaching in their schools and in their churches and stuff. Let's move on. So that ignorance is really giving us a little more room here. That's the abomination, desolation. False Israel is gone. Now it's clear. We're true to Abraham. Now attack is on. True seed Abraham. See? Time of unprecedented trouble now. Because during this time, there's famine and everything else going on. Because they totally cut off from the oil in the Middle East. Totally cut off. Europe is cut off. And America's cut off. Britain's they're totally cut off. And America doesn't have enough, right, reserves for themselves. And then they got to furnish Europe too, because Europe can make demands. We want oil. This was your idea, invading and all that kind of stuff, right? And the only oil source they have is Russia. And they're at war with Russia. So they're going to betray America because they're going to say, hey, hell with all that. Russia, you turn the speaker back on, and we're on your side. We'll see that in a minute. I'm trying to give you step by step, brothers. This is what's going on here. So here we are right now. Famine, war, economic. All is happening right now. Because once that war starts and they get kicked out, that's the state of America. Famine, war, economic collapse, insurrection. I didn't mention that, insurrection. All that. That's at that point in time, that's what it's going to be like. When I say famine, I mean total famine. Because They might have food on the farms, but it's no good if they can't get it to you because they say they have a diesel problem right now. So anyway, you'll see, bonuses. That's about to happen. That's a greenish yellow horse. They call it a pale horse, bad translation. And it says, we're given upon the fourth of earth, that represents America. You understand the angel, understand this, brothers and sisters, right? To kill long sword, famine, and death by the wild beasts of the earth. That's war, that's Armageddon. See? But you understand, the angel understand that. Okay? And then you got, this is when full attack occurs. Now we're prepared, now they're moving in. Prepared, they're moving in. And that's when the first wind blows. That's where the key is set to open the bottomless pit. That's where the 7 churches come in, right? That first, because remember, we're food. We're 3/5 human. There's no food. There's no food in America. No food anywhere. You can't imagine that, but that's what it's going to be. No food anywhere. No food anywhere. No food anywhere. So they're under attack for both reasons. Because unity, make sure we're united, plus for food. It says it. I probably just showed it here, but it says that's what they would do. They would eat us, eat God's people. Now it's known, it's clear that we're God's people. They said they'd be eating us. And then they'll eat their own children. Full attack. So the first wind blows, because 4 winds caused the resurrection of Lazarus. 4 winds, that's what's happening right here. Now, all this happened really quick, bones. That's why I'm doing it this way. But all this happened very quick. The way I was doing before, I was moving around because that's the way the book reveals it. But all this happened very quick, brothers and sisters. Very short period of time. So I'm trying to show each piece, but some of the stuff act almost simultaneously. Okay, so that's the first of the winds. That's called the key that released the locusts, because that's what Isa does. He's the one that's got the book of the 7 churches. He released the demon plague called the locust plague. Why do they call it locust? Locust also a symbol of famine. So also is green, that greenish yellow horse, a symbol of famine. Okay. What happened here? Okay. Okay, well, I just showed that. The first wind blew, right? Famine, flee. Why say flee like that, brothers and sisters? He says, don't go up in your house to get your food. Don't go in your house to get your baby. Don't go get anything. If you're in the field, don't go back to anything, just leave. Why? Because they're not talking about because it's the army that was preparing to just take you out. It was the government that was preparing to take you out. But now they're in famine. That's part of it. So the government was take you out because of unity. The government was to take you out to destroy because they fear your unity. That's the government was doing that. That's what they're planning. That's organizing, and that's what they're attacking with. But what's this flee thing? This flee is because that's not the government there. That's not the police force, because it takes time to get there. Say, when you see this abomination, desolation, when false Israel goes down, when you see this, flee. Why are you fleeing like that? Don't go back, because you fleeing from your neighbors. The neighbors ain't there. They didn't eat you. You're fleeing from your neighbor. That's why I say flee like that. Because you're fleeing from your neighbors. They're hungry. They ain't eaten several days. They didn't eat you. They're your next door neighbors. Because if there was a governor where you'd have time to go in and get, and it wouldn't matter anyway. Because if a government come at you that way, right? They can block you on the highways and everything else. No, it's your neighbors. That's what you're fleeing from. That's why I said don't go in your house, don't do anything, just leave. That's different what the government's trying to do. They're trying to round you up, destroy you, because they there before your unity. These here for food. They're hungry. You understand the difference, brothers and sisters? So I'm trying to make it clear to you. See? That's the second wind. See? So all these four winds, they flow, but something happens during the time that these four winds are blowing. That's what I'm trying to show you the details. Because usually I just show you, the result of the four winds after they all blow. But there's things happening while they're blowing. So I'm going to some of the details here. So then, right, the second wind blowing, right? Then the saints, right? They get out the way. Second wind blows, right? And third wind, that's what caused Armageddon. That's that second seal. See? That's third, second seal, where it says take peace from the earth. See, up this time, right? They just got this defeat in the Middle East. Economic collapse in Europe and America. The famine here, the insurrection here, right? People starving, eating people. They're trying to catch people to eat them. The government's trying to destroy the black community because they fear that they saw a sign of unity. And then bam, the war ignites in Armageddon. That war blows up in Europe. Why? So the spark is already there with this Ukraine thing. But remember, Europe is desperate too. They're hungry over there too. And when false Israel went down, they went down as cannibals. They was eating, the scripture tells they were eating their own. They was under siege. They put them under siege for a while. And while they were under siege, there was no food coming, no food going out. They were starving and they was eating each other to show who they really were. Because when they go down, they're going to be destroyed. It says, we see Jerusalem surrounded by armies. Its destruction is near. That means they couldn't have been seed of Abraham. Because who controls Jerusalem? Jerusalem is the capital of what? So it could be, because it says once they return, they would not be destroyed. So they destroyed, but they destroyed in the most horrific way. And the whole world sees them as they are, because they're going to have drones and everything flying over, watching them, eating each other, killing each other, and whatever they're doing to each other. And then they finally wiped out. Okay? That's why I call it abomination, desolation. It's abomination. It's abomination every kind of way imaginable. So then, the third wind, remember all these happened at pretty much the same period of time. Then the war ignites in Europe, which adds more problems, complexity to the whole situation, to the European situation. Now they're fighting with each other. And then NATO and EU and all that, they turn against America because America cannot provide them with the fuel they need. They're cut off because their main source of fuel was the Middle East. It's cut off from them, and America cannot supply them. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't get to them fast enough because they can't do it by plane. They have to do it by ship. So it's going to happen in the wintertime. So they're freezing everything over there, and the only hope they got is with Russia. And so they're going to say, go along with Russia, so now America's in a vice between, they over there fight, and then between Russia and EU, going to turn on them. That's Armageddon. Okay. Not going to be a nuclear war. America will be nuked, but it won't be a nuclear war. Mass from Muhammad will not permit it. Not going to turn our plan into a wasteland. That's one of the reasons why he's doing what he's doing. Make sure that doesn't happen. So here you see, there you see the war in Europe, right? Right? During this time, people are still fleeing. They're still fleeing. Black folks are coming together. Demons and saints are all coming together. Because they're being pursued, attacked by everybody. It's the population and by the government. They're all coming together. But the fourth wind is Elijah. That one hasn't blown yet. Remember, all these the resurrection is not complete till the four winds blow. Okay? So you got the fourth one hasn't blown yet. There you go. The fourth one is blowing, and that's almost all the black folks come together. The demons, as well as the original nation, as well as the saint. It says, Suma will come as a thief in the night, and he bring with 10,000 of his saints. That I'm not going to explain that, brothers and sisters, but if you only knew. So remember, the fourth wind is blowing now. It hasn't finished. It's in the process. And now all the black folks together, demons well as saints. That's at the harvest. Remember, the chaff and wheat was poured together, and then the chaff was separated out and thrown back in the fire. That's happening right now. They're all together, and then they get to fighting amongst themselves because the demons, they want, that's what it says in Exodus. Remember, they got to fight with each other. So those with Elijah, they went and took out the ones that was with Aaron. Because the demons want to stay here, and they wanted to help them to fight. They think, hey man, it's 34 million of us, we can take over this country. And it's 17 million demons and 17 million original people. And we say, hell, we don't want no parties, we want to go. And they get mad, they want to take out our leaders and force the rest to go out and help them fight, take over this country. They want to stay here. That's what leaders said, please don't make me lead a country. No. So we get in a fight, and then we cast them out. We cast them out. This is while the fourth wind is blowing. Will a nation be born in a day? In a day? So there it is. That's when the fourth wind blows. See? The nation comes together. But what happens? We're not here. That's when Elijah's match from us snatches out here. See? So when they say, well, I've been saying they snatched the, that's angel language, and they snatched it, she up. See? No. Our nation is we're one nation. We're the ones snatched up and taken over there. We're the ones snatched up and taken over there. That's when Master Muhammad, right? He takes and delivers us, and Michael stands up and delivers us. We want to take over. So we're all snatched away from, because that's a tree of life also. Remember, the tree of life had to be snatched away. Snatched away over there. We're not coming over here. So nation was born over there, not here. We come together here, but we come together with the demons. But our new nation, New Jerusalem, born will be over there. When nation be born in a day, that's the new nation. That's the new ark, New Jerusalem. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. And that's also the beginning of the demon war, which will last 5 months. Because now they cast out. They're demon daddies, they're swine daddies. And that will last for 5 months. But we'll be out of here. And the tribulation, see saints there on the moon, they're under the ark. So they're going to go through tribulation. That's what it says in Mark. No, you can't get on the boat with us because the boat represents the ark from Elijah, rainbow up to elect. So they're not on it. So he told them, no, you can't go. You have to stay. But see, they above the inner tribulation, but they're above it. They're not harmed if they listen to what Suleiman told them. They're above everybody else. They can remain above it, but they're still in it. That's why no hair on your head will be harmed. They're above it. They're still in it, though. That they'll listen to what Suleiman told them, because he said he had to come and clean them up. Measure come had to clean it up, clean the whole mess up. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. And then after 5 months, the war is over. At the same time, see, got 5 months over, the devils finally overtake them, and all was left, and they're all on the dinner table. Because there's no food. There's been no food here for 5 months. Only food has been them. Only food is the ones they've been able to catch. Now they got all the rest of them. And they're on the dinner table. At the same time that, see the sea and the river there? That's China, India. So they come, that's the goat, right? What was the goat? The goat was the leopard in China. You understand, Daniel? The leopard was what, yellow with brown spots? There you go. And it comes across from the west. Its feet not touching land. That means it come across the Pacific Ocean. The only one can do that is China, India. They come across here without feet touching it because they're right on the west. They're right on the west coast, on the east coast of the Pacific Ocean. So they come. That's why I said feet not touching land. So it's China, India's right behind them. They come in and they're going to attack. At the time the demons go down, that's when they attack. And we see right here, that's why I see you don't see demons anymore, because America says the earth opened up and swallowed them up. See, Europeans, America took them out. Ate them up. That's that earth swallowed them up, ate them up, ate them up. And now there's no food at all. They're gone. All the food's gone. Now they're gone. And that's when China and India rolls in. And they put America on siege, right? And that's when they start eating each other. Eating children, then their neighbors. And then what remains after that, they're taken captivity, and then they just nuke the country, burn it up, burn it down. That sequence of events, brothers and sisters, I think that's, I got one more thing here. Sequence of events, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. And then that's the flood. After 1 month siege, they take out America. Because that's what America's make their last stand here. The British Army, the Canadian Army, the New Zealand Army, Australian Army, they're all going to be here because they already been defeated. There's no more Australia, no more New Zealand. See, the Britain's gone too. China's already taken them all out. And so what there remains of armies come here to make their last stand. That's said a ram had 2 horns. He was right here. And that's where he engaged the goat, and the goat crushed him. So the goat was full of wrath. Ain't China getting angry at America? Ain't China very angry at America now? So the goat was really shoulders and really angry. And it comes, hit that ram and knocks it down and stamps it to the ground. That's what's about to happen in America after all that stuff you go through. And then remember it's taken to captivity and says you're going to be held from then on. Nothing will ever work for you. That's the 6,000 year, beginning of 6,000 year period of hell. Because they're going to be taking the foreign countries. Eventually we're going to gather you all up, put you far north in Europe as possible, and lock you in. Because Christ says strong guards, place of refuge. Only thing you'll be able to eat up there is shit and urine. That's it. And each other. That's it. That's it, brothers and sisters, the flood. And then comes after this, the war of the latter days, is not going to talk about now, right? But that's it. And we're home. Then you got, I talked about this situation. That's the war of last days that will occur after we're home. I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. I'm gonna leave it there. I think that's it. Yes, that's it, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. I covered everything. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.